Hey everybody, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. I have the privilege of doing some of these epic isolated vocal tracks where I get to do a tutorial and an analysis to show you guys how they did some of this stuff in the studio, and this stuff is awesome. Next up is another Led Zeppelin piece. Of course, the singer is Robert Plant, and it's Whole Lotta Love. Now, I did a version of this myself. I did it more like me, not like Robert. I will put that in the description for you to see how well I did and how I stack up next to Led Zeppelin. But I just want to dive right in, and before I get there, I want to let you guys know I have a singing course. The course is called How to Sing Better Than Anyone Else, and you can find it right here at kentamplinvocalacademy.com. I also have a singing forum where you guys know there's over 20,000 people in there right now, and it's growing. So maybe even by the time you see this video, there'll be a lot more than 20,000. But where we discuss all of these amazing singers, how they got to be what they, who they are, and what they're doing vocally, stylistically, and how you guys can do this too. Okay. So without much further ado, I want to dive right into this, and this is Whole Lotta Love. Here we go.
You need cool air, baby, I'm not fooling. I'm gonna send you back to school.
Now, I want to point out, as I've said in one of the other, or maybe two of the other Led Zeppelin videos I've done, and I'm not sure when I'm going to release these, so don't, hold me to the chronology of when these are coming out, but is that Robert sounds a lot like he's singing a lot heavier and a lot louder and a lot more powerful than he really is. It's an illusion, okay? Now the band with a lot of energy and stuff helps with the energy to make the vocals sound like he's pushing or singing heavier than he really is. So you need cooling, baby, I'm not fooling. I'm gonna send you way back to schooling, right? He's keeping the sound really small. He's got some distortion going on, and he uses that yodeling thing, to kind of keep his throat open so that he doesn't get caught in the throat on the chords. Now, I've heard live versions of him doing this, and he doesn't do it as good live as he does here in the studio. So keep that in mind. Like I said, a lot of times it's a tightrope walking act of them from what they do in the studio to try to be able to replicate this or duplicate this live. All right, so let's listen to it one more time and notice how heavy he's not singing in the track, though there's an illusion that he's really just killing it, right? Listen closely.
You need cool air, baby, I'm not fooling. I'm gonna send you back to school.
See that?
Way down inside, honey, you need it.
See, it's gentle.
I'm gonna give you my love.
He just has a naturally high voice. I'm gonna give you my love. He's got a naturally high voice, and so he's able to get into those pockets with some of that distortion to make you think like he's just really pounding on it when he's not really. Okay, let's continue.
I'm gonna give you my love.
Let's see, coming up close. Oh, sorry, let me move this forward here.
Learning, baby, I've been learning. All them good time, baby, I've been yearning. Way down inside, honey, you need
Now, I want you to notice, you've been learning, baby, I've been learning. Right, he's real small on the sound, but like I said, he's got such a naturally high voice that if you listen to when he goes for lower notes, you can tell his voice doesn't go very low. Now, sometimes it does, depending on the song. So, if we're listening to Going to California or something with a much lower range in the verse parts, yes, he has some lower tones. But when he set his voice up high with little boy voice, we've talked a lot about that, it sounds like this, and it's pitched really, really high. And he doesn't have to work very hard to get to those notes like I do when I have to really negotiate and really be careful not to oversing or be too throaty on the sound. Now, when I did my version, I did it heavier. I sang it kind of like Ken Tamplin meets David Coverdale or something, because I wanted to kind of man up to the sound and have it be kind of a roaring lion kind of sound. I didn't quite follow the same rules because I just wanted a bigger sound. If I were to do that live in a live set, I wouldn't sing it as heavy as I did the recording, because I only had to sing one song end to end rather than doing 10 or 11 or 12 songs or even a couple hours of singing. I wouldn't have drug that much weight from the bottom up to the top. I would have sang it more like he does it now here. And you can hear it too when I do Going going to California. In fact, I'll go ahead and put all the Zeppelin songs I've done. I'll put that in the description so you can hear what I'm talking about, because I did Going to California. I did, I've got a few songs. I don't want to talk about them all now, but I want to focus on this one. I'll put this one first and you can see it, and you can see what I'm talking about me singing in higher places. I do that on Going to California, and was it Heartbreaker? I forget what else. Ramble On. When I did Ramble On, I sang it higher in pitch. I didn't try to drag the weight up like I did when I sang this song, right? Okay, here we go. So,
I'm gonna give you my love. I'm gonna give you my love. Oh.
Want a whole lot of love? Okay, now there's another break here. Let's get past some of this stuff. Here we go.
I don't want much.
I don't know what he said.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Right? Sometimes you just throw stuff out there. Okay, let's get past all this because I want to get to this section here. Here we go. Sorry for having to lean back and look.
Just a little bit.
Did you guys even know that was in there? I forgot that was even in there. So we're hearing stuff that we wouldn't have normally heard because not necessarily, in the track you're like focusing on that stuff unless you're in a Zeppelin tribute band trying to get it exactly right. So let's, I'm gonna move this up because there's these little stabs here and there. So let me go from here. Here's the first one. Here we go. More psychedelia right there from Led Zeppelin. Here we go. Another little stab.
Timber.
I think it's timber. All right. Here we go. Another one.
Oh my.
Oh my. All right. Here we go.
You've been cooling, and baby, I've been drooling.
You've been cooling, baby, I've been drooling. Listen to this again, like he's kind of like,
baby, I've been drooling. All the good time, baby, I've been misusing. Way down inside, I'm gonna give you my love. I'm gonna give you every inch of my love. I'm gonna give you my love. Yeah. All right, let's go.
Okay, so like I said, there's some under the influence going on here. Again, I've said this before, Zeppelin did do some drugs back in the day. You can really hear that kind of come out of just being kind of whatever comes out. And actually, like Janis Joplin, people like that, it worked to their advantage because I think they just were able to just, maybe push themselves harder than they should have. And so it did some superhuman kind of things. So in this case, there's some of that as well. So.
Way down inside.
Remember all the effect that comes in?
Woman, you need.
So let's do this together. Let's see if you guys can do way down inside. Right. Way. Try to go way. Get it real small. Way down inside. Woman, you need me. Right. Try to get it real small and see, as you're going through this stuff, don't try to swallow the whole elephant and sing the whole song. Try to just get a note, 2 notes, 3 notes, and then you build and build and build, and then you realize, okay, I think I oversang that part because now I can't sing the next part. So you start smaller and you build and build and build until you can get the verse and the chorus, then the verse, the chorus, another verse, chorus, another verse, chorus, right? And you keep building the song like that, and eventually you can get pretty doggone close, and once you build up the stamina, you can nail a couple of these suckers. And whether it's in a band or a karaoke night, you can really impress a lot of people with this. So let's continue. Here we go. I'm going to move it. Here we go. The epic scream.
Yeah.
Now, I want to point something out. Did it really sound that epic as we remembered it without all the effects? Think about that. I want to play it one more time. Does it if I came in and you didn't know me from Adam, you'd never heard this song before, and I just did this one scream, would you be that wowed by it, especially if there weren't all the effects? I don't think so. I think it's kind of cool, I think, right? So pay attention to things that are really great for the sake of being great, and other things are things that we've just heard a lot, so we think it's great, or things that affect, putting a lot of effects on something that makes it great because of the effect and the vibe of it. But listen to the scream again. Check this out. Listen, check it out. And if I did, yeah, if I did that to you, you'd go, okay, I think that's kind of cool. But it's Robert Plant, it was, again, just stamping an icon, legendary thing of a song and a thing that we've heard a million times. And with all that effect on it, it sounds pretty epic. So listen to my version of this when you get a chance. Go in the description, check out my version, and listen to it with all the effect. Without the effect, it's going to sound like the way I just did it. With all the effect, it just sounds like this trippy, wow, LSD trip, huge, long vocal, right? Okay, let's keep going. Here we go. We're almost done with this here.
Give it to me, baby, 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 baby.
So if I give it to me, baby, 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 you'd be like, okay, I'll give it to you. Here we go.
Shake for me, girl. I wanna be your backdoor man. Hey, oh, hey, oh.
Now, what did you notice different about this than the part before it? I want to play both of them back to back. I want to see if you can figure this out. I'm going to tell you, but I want to see if you can figure this out. So let me back this up. Sorry for having to turn my back on you. Maybe I should have another camera facing this way so you can see me both times. It'll only take a second. Check this out. I'm going to go back to here.
Give it to me, baby, 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 baby.
You hear that? Now listen to this.
Shake for me, girl. I wanna be your backdoor man.
It sounds like it was recorded on a different day. It sounds like the settings were different. It sounds like his distance from the microphone was different. He has a lot more energy, a lot more presence in his mind and in the sound and the way he's presenting it. So this end probably was recorded on a different day. Really, straight up. Or they took a long break, or he took a nap, or something, came back, whatever. But the energy and the vibe is very different than the stuff that we previously just heard. Listen how much energy and strength is in the sound. Check it out one more time.
Shake for me, girl. I wanna be your backdoor man. Hey, oh, hey, oh.
See what I mean?
Hey, oh, ooh.
Now, it wouldn't surprise me, I hate to say this, it wouldn't surprise me if it was on the same day, he might have gone back and, did something that gave him a lot more energy to get this back. And I don't think it was a couple of cups of coffee, because all of a sudden he's got this like crazy wow coming at you that he didn't quite have throughout the rest of the song. He started out that way and you could hear it kind of petering out and getting less and less. And then coming back here, they probably said, hey man, this ending needs to be more, or he heard it himself and said, I've got to make this, more energetic at the end. So let's, we're almost at the end here. Now it's more just vibe and
keep it coolin', baby. I keep it coolin', baby. I keep it coolin', baby. I keep it coolin', baby.
Remember I told you about him throwing those I keep it coolin', baby. Right, he's got that in it to get to those notes. We talked a lot about that. That's his safeguard for him being able to get to the notes and not chirp in the throat to where it sounds like he's like it's a mistake. It sounds intentional. That's an epic scream. Love that. I think that's when that started to wear off. He's like, oh, I think I'm done with this song. Anyway, gang, if you like what you heard, please like and subscribe to my channel and check out my next video.